Guys, welcome back. It is Racer X, and today I want to do a little bit of a follow-up on a video that I launched a little while back on the difference between the Scatpack and the 1,000 horsepower Hellcat 0 to 60 on the street with different tires, all that kind of stuff. And we had a lot of interaction and a lot of questions because the Scatpack actually proved to be a little bit faster. It was actually the same on the Mickey Thompsons, and it was actually a little faster on the Nitto. It was actually about a half second or so. That was really surprising considering it has half the horsepower, but it's all about how it puts the horsepower down. And on that video, I had a lot of questions about, hey, look, why don't you guys use launch control? So I actually want to do a little video on launch control on both of these two cars to see if launch control is a gimmick or is it something that actually works and makes the car faster. So today we're going to find that out. We're going to use both cars. We're going to put some different tires on the cars and see if launch control does in fact work or it's just some silly toy that Dodge put in the car to say that they did it. So anyway, guys, we're going to get that going. If you have not subscribed to the channel, make sure you hit the subscribe button down below, and we're off. So there is the stock Scatpack wheel and tire combination, a 245 Eagle RSA2. As we know, it's only a 245 and they are relatively hard. We're going to run street tire pressures for this exercise once again. And really the idea here is just to see if launch control is faster. I'm not so concerned with the overall time. I'm just really concerned with, does launch control help and get you a faster time? Or does launch control actually hurt you and slow you down? So for those of you that tuned into the last video, you may have seen when I piloted the 2019 Challenger Scatpack from 0 to 60 on the stock tires, I did 3 runs. And the best I could muster in 3 runs was a 5.1 second blast. And it was a wheel spinning festival, so to speak. It's hard to plant these little 245 tires on the road, on a street, which is less than perfect traction with this much power, and the way this car makes torque, it is very, very torquey. So we're gonna go and we're gonna run down here to a little spot, and we're gonna try out the traction. We're actually gonna try out the launch control system, and see how the launch control system performs to see if we can either better that 5.1 or maybe it's gonna be worse, but we're gonna find out. So for the purposes of this test, I'm actually going to set my dynamic drive modes. My transmission, I'm actually going to change it from track, which I did last time, to sport to see if I can soften up those shifts just a little bit. We're also going to keep the traction in sport this time instead of track. And then of course the steering is going to be sport. It really doesn't matter what the steering is. But we're going to try that first and see how it goes. Head back and try out this launch control. Okay, so when using the launch control system, you can see we've got a button right here, launch. So we'll go ahead and push that mamma jamma. As you can see, it lights up right here. It says to launch. Press the brake and quickly apply full throttle, which I will be the first to tell you, it feels a little bit weird. Left foot on the brake and then just slam the throttle on really hard, but that's exactly what you have to do or it will not work right. So anyway, I'm literally going to just slam the throttle in. I've got my left foot on the brake. You can't see it, but anyway, we're going to give it a shot. I just wanted to kind of show you how that system works, and we're going to put her down through. Okay, 2019 Scatpack Challenger, very first launch with launch control. Let's see what our 0-60 time is. I've got my left foot on the brake. I got to slam the throttle. Here we go. Oh, didn't work. Try it again. Here we go. Okay, there was a truck going the other way. According to that was a 4.6. So what that tells me is that it actually worked because I could feel it minimizing the wheel spin a little bit. So my previous best was a 5.1. That was a 4.6. That's pretty telling. Was not expecting that. But hey, it's kind of a nice surprise that the technology actually kind of worked. Either that, or I just have a really hard time putting the power down, you know, with the 245s on the back, which that may play a factor as well. There it is, 4.6. Well, I will tell you that this is absolutely a tire shredding festival. It is. I can't probably do too many runs with this, or I will literally have just a stub back there for a tire. But I did want to test this out. So actually, I'm ready for the second run here. First one was a 4.6, which I'm really impressed with considering these stock 245 hard tires on street pressure. So it's like 36 pounds of pressure in the back of this tire. So it's actually pretty good. And I could really feel the car kind of trying to modulate the throttle a little bit and do some of the work and keep the car from spinning. So second run, we'll go ahead and select our launch just like we did before. Okay. Oops, it says the steering wheel must be straight. There you go. All right, hard on the brake, and we're off. A lot more tire spin. Don't think that one was quite as good. Let's see how we did. Okay, so that one was a 5.3. So oddly enough, it's been kind of inconsistent. I was inconsistent off the foot brake as well. So the first one was a lot faster. Second one was slower. So I tell you what, let's do one more for kind of a tiebreaker, and we'll see what kind of result we get. Okay, last and final run on launch control with the 2019 Scatpack Challenger. Hard on the brake, slam on the throttle, here we go. Still a lot of wheel spin. 4.7. So that was actually better that time. So for some odd reason on the second run, had quite a bit of wheel spin, but you can really feel it pull the power back and try and do some work. So overall, we had a 4.7, a 4.6, and then of course a 5.3, which is a little bit of an oddball. Maybe the tires were a little bit dusty from when I turned around. But I will say this, overall, I do believe that the launch control actually helped me on this little test, which I'm really surprised by, because I was always told that launch control is just a gimmick. It doesn't really work. Apparently on this car, it seems to work okay, at least on the street. Now, if I'm at the track, probably still won't use launch control because the tires are just going to stick and go, not worried about it. But I think on the street, it might be worth trying out launch control, guys, especially with these stalkers on here. So I want to go back and I want to try this on the Hellcat, because as we know, the Hellcat is an animal. It makes a ton of power, and really that launch control system will have its hands full, and we'll see if we can better the time on the Nittos. Dodge Charger Hellcat that makes over 1,000 horsepower. We do have upper and lower pulleys, E85, 309 gears. Some of you do know my setup. Car runs really good, makes a ton of power, and is an absolute ridiculous amount of fun to drive. So I'm gonna go see if we can get the launch control to work on this. And I have a quick admission for you guys. I have not once ever used launch control on this car. And I don't know how many passes I have in this thing, like 800 passes at the track. I've owned it for 3 years. I have done just about everything you can think of to do in this car, except use launch control. Today will be the first day we use that. Now, here's the thing. The Nittos, the last time we used this on the previous video, the 0-60, just kind of foot braking it, best time I could get was a 4.8, which isn't all that impressive, but then again, the car just basically rips the tires, and it's basically kind of just a push rather than ever grabbing. I mean, the car just will not hook on the street with too much power, not enough tire patch, and the surface just isn't sticky enough. So it is a huge challenge to get this thing down through there. But you know what? Today we're going to try launch control and see if we can better that 4.8 that we did the other day. First launch using launch control in the 1,000 horsepower 2016 Dodge Charger Hellcat. I've got the brake on with my left foot, hard down, It feels really weird to floor this one because you know you're going to end up in a tree somewhere. Let's hope that doesn't happen. Crossing my fingers. And here we go. Yeah, no, that didn't work. I created a new atmosphere back there. All right, we're going to try it again. Okay. It's not working. Oh my goodness gracious. It looks like I caught the forest on fire back there. This thing just created so much smoke. Matter of fact, we may have to go check out my handiwork. I cannot get the launch control to work on this beast, so it's not having it. Well, there's an illustration of what launch control looks like with the 1,000 horsepower Hellcat. It wasn't me, officer, I swear. God. So, yeah, I think the car just overpowers the launch control. I'm just gonna be honest with you. It didn't modulate crap. It just laid it down, and there's about 3/4 of a nitto right there. Another 3/4 over my other, this shoulder here. And guys, this could turn out to be a pretty expensive video keeping this up. So I've tried 4 times to use launch control on the Hellcat. It is not going to happen, guys. But it does work on the Scatpack, which is pretty cool. Check out this joker. He's just cruising. Yep, it's that time of year here in Texas. See these guys all over the place. Oh my goodness, it is hard to be incognito when you drive that. All right, well, just for the hell of it, I am actually going to do one more little run. But I'm gonna obviously foot brake it. Can't get the traction control, the launch control thing to work. But I'm actually gonna try and leave in a little bit different drive mode that I did on my previous video. I'm gonna leave everything in street, and I'm gonna leave in second gear, and we'll see if it does any better. Okay, second gear start, all street mode. We're just gonna foot brake it here and see what happens. Actually, I surprised myself. I just ran a 4.2 on that, so I guess that is the key. So I may have screwed up on my last video because I had everything in my normal drive mode, which is probably how I would normally race it on the street. But doing that little pull, just leaving everything in 700 horsepower, but having everything in street mode, it actually, even leaving in second gear, it ran a 4.2, and it actually felt a little more hooked up, which is kind of nice. So something to be learned from that.
Doc, I mean, is he retarded?
Retarded means slow. Was he slow?
No.
Then you don't sound retarded to me.
So I do kind of want to address one other quick thing. I did hear a lot of comments in my last video about it's not worth getting a Hellcat because, you just can't hook up the power, and, it's on a street and all that kind of stuff. And obviously, I absolutely love the Scatpack and the way it puts the power down. But I will tell you, for a grin-inducing, just unbelievably good time, this Hellcat is a monster. And I mean, even though it has trouble hooking up, that's part of the fun of it. Obviously, it's unbelievably fast from a roll when I'm racing somebody, out on the highway. But I mean, just as I come around these little bends here, I mean, it's just unbelievable how much power this thing has. It's just right at the blip of your foot. And guys, unless you've driven one like this, I mean, obviously this is a highly modified car. Well, it's not highly modified, but it is modified. I mean, it makes a lot of power. But I mean, this thing, there is no substitute for it. It is every doctor should recommend it. It is like Viagra, but not. I don't know how else to explain it, guys. But hey, for you Hellcat guys out there, I got to give you a quick shout, man, because man, these cars are unbelievable. The 392s are unbelievable too. But what a great day! What a great time to be alive and be a car guy. So Hellcat's put away. Got our Scatpack here, and you know what? It was fun testing out the launch control. Couple things we learned here. One, the launch control on the Scatpack
seems to work pretty well, and that really surprises me. Now, I didn't throw any of the other tires on the Scatpack. I feel like the system kind of proved itself a little bit, and I'm telling you, I was shredding some tires out there. The last couple of videos, I have eaten up some tires, and so for the sake of my wallet, we'll just kind of leave it how it is. The Hellcat was a completely different story. Launch control just wasn't doing its thing. I don't know if it's because my car makes too much power and it's been tuned out or whatever, but I mean, it's just overpowering the system. I have no idea, but there was no launch controlling whatsoever on that car. It was just pure black lines all the way down as far as you want to go. So a little bit different result on these two cars, but it was just a fun little video, a little follow-up for those of you that had the question about launch control, and helped me learn something too. So guys, listen, I really appreciate you tuning in. Once again, if you have not subscribed to the channel, please make sure that you do so. And until next time, Racer X.